Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you lot are doing well, and welcome to the first match preview of this season. Yes indeed, it's the big one. Chelsea's first Premier League match, away at Old Trafford. Chelsea versus Manchester United. Frank Lampard versus Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Epic scenes indeed. But before we do get into today's video, I just want to say a big thank you to you lot for helping me reach over 10,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. Huge landmark, very pleased and humbled with this. Before the season starts as well, 10k in just this summer, that's an excellent landmark for me. And if you want to see what all the fuss is about and you have not subscribed, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the bell notifications icon, and if you want to help me out, please like this video, because I hope you like this video. So, this fixture is the fire rubber of the weekend, Chelsea versus Manchester United. Two new coaches, well, relatively new coaches, two ex-club legends, well, Solskjaer is relatively an ex-club legend, not like Frank Lampard is to Chelsea. Regardless, two young coaches that are legends for their clubs, matching up against each other with their own respective unsettled sides. I've got a lot to talk about in this match preview today, so let's get into some analysis. Alright, so it is the first game of the season, and teams and coaches and play styles and everything changes throughout a domestic season, so there's going to be a bit of speculation in this preview about how the teams are going to play and what personnel they'll use, because let's be honest, I've only got pre-season as a sample size. But I will be talking about certain aspects of the games, like individual battles and how I think the game could pan out. Before I do get into the sort of tactical approach and formations and personnel, I'm going to pull up this stat now from PremierLeague.com. As you can see on the graphic, this is the head-to-head record between Chelsea Football Club and Manchester United in the Premier League era. So Chelsea have won more games, kept more clean sheets, and scored more goals than Manchester United. Pretty decent, huh? See, the thing is, Chelsea have always been a thorn in United's side in the Premier League era. Now, this predates Roman Abramovich or the takeover. Chelsea were just always good against Manchester United, and United didn't like that because obviously the Premier League behemoth, the big old team that no one could beat, or the team that dominated through the 90s and early noughties and all that. Chelsea would always put a performance in against Manchester United. But historical success aside, this is one individual game, and like I said, there's a lot of unsettled aspects to both teams here, and in today's modern football climate, you never know what the hell is going to happen. The bookies have made Manchester United clear favourites, and understandably, they have a more settled coach that's been in there for a while. They're at home at Old Trafford. They don't have a transfer ban. They've made decent investment. They've spent like, what, 130, 40 million? So they haven't got a transfer ban. And unlike Chelsea, they're not missing their best player. You know, Chelsea do have a transfer ban. They're missing Eden Hazard. Frank Lampard has just arrived at the club. He hasn't got that much managerial experience. You know, there's a lot going for United in this fixture and not a lot going for Chelsea. But let's talk about some formations and tactical stuff and personnel, etc. Right then, I pulled up a graphic beside me for formations. Now, I think personally, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to play a 4-2-3-1 regardless. Now, I think that because that's what he's been doing in pre-season, and it's quite like a sensible Premier League formation that for the first game, I think he's going to deploy. So in these two lineups, it's only a personnel difference and not a shape or formation difference. In both lineups, I have the same back five because that's what's most sensible looking at the personnel. So there's David De Gea in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back, Luke Shaw at left back, and the centre back pairing of Lindelof and new boy, world record signing, Harry Maguire. In the first lineup, I have Pogba and McTominay in the engine room, as this is a deep midfield two that Solskjaer has already deployed in pre-season. No Matic, you notice. Martial will be in the left wing position, Mata will be in the number 10, and interestingly, I've put Diogo Dalot in the right wing position here, behind Marcus Rashford as the lone striker. Now, I've moved Dalot here because Solskjaer's deployed Dalot as a right winger or a right forward before last season, and for the opening game of the season, I feel like this might offer him a bit of more of security. You know, he's obviously going to play Wan-Bissaka as right back, so maybe to be a little bit more cautious, I see him playing Dalot there. I've also put Mata in the number 10. A lot of United fans think, or they feel Mata's had his time at United and he should go and they should, you know, play somewhere else there. But Solskjaer does trust him, as has recent Manchester United coaches, and I do see him playing against his former club as a sensible selection in this game, and he's probably played his best football at United in that number 10 position. So I can see it happening. In the second formation, I have the same back five, like I said, but in the engine room, I've got Matic and McTominay. Now, I think McTominay will start regardless, but United fans tell me Nemanja Matic has been awful for Manchester United of late, and fair enough, I can believe it. He's quite slow, and maybe his best days are behind him. And although I think a lot of United fans would like to see him dropped, and he could well be dropped, if Pogba's pushed forward into the 10, like I have him in the second formation, or second lineup, I see Matic and McTominay being the more sort of sensible, good on the ball, deep engine room too. Martial would stay on the left wing, Rashford would stay as the lone striker, and Mata is deployed on the right wing, which United fans might not be happy to see. To be honest, I think this isn't the kind of lineup United fans would want to see, because Matt is probably best in the 10, he's not great at right wing, and also they probably don't want Matic playing in centre mid. Still, it seems like a sort of senior, sensible lineup to just settle the team into the first fixture of the season, and he knows that Nemanja Matic and Juan Mata will both know Chelsea very well, so maybe they might feel it's sensible using him, who knows. Obviously, I'm just speculating a little bit, but I think I would not be surprised, certainly, to see those two lineups. Right, so how will Frank Lampard set up Chelsea in this game? Let's switch the graphics around. So as you can see, I've got a couple of different Chelsea formations and lineups here that Frank Lampard might deploy in this game. Like United, I think Chelsea will keep the same back five regardless. I think it will be Arrizabalaga in goal, I think it will be Emerson at left back, Azpilicueta at right back, and the centre back pairing I think will be Zuma and David Luiz. Now, it's also important to note that in these lineups, I'm assuming Kante is fit and ready to go. I know he hasn't featured much in pre-season, but I think personally that's due to a rehabilitation to make sure he's fit and fighting for this game. So, assuming Kante's fit, and also assuming Willian's not ready to be integrated into the team. Now, I'm not saying Frank Lampard should pick Willian, I'm saying that maybe he would, provided he actually played some pre-season games and got integrated into Lampard's system, which he hasn't. So I don't think Willian will start, and I'm assuming Kante will start. So anyway, in front of the Jorginho-Kante double pivot, I say an attacking midfield three of Pedro on the right, who's featured a lot in pre-season, Barkley in the number 10 role, who's arguably been Chelsea's form player in pre-season, and on the left wing, Christian Pulisic. Now, as the lone striker in this system, I've gone with Olivier Giroud, which makes the most sense, especially earlier in the Premier League season. He's so experienced in the Premier League, and you know, if he's going to be coming up against Harry Maguire and Lindelof, he's going to need to have that sort of Prem knowledge and strength, and it just makes so much sense to play Olivier Giroud in this game as a lone striker, but also the earlier games in the campaign. Right, so the second formation and lineup I've chosen would be incredibly, well not incredibly, but certainly very daring from Chelsea and Frank Lampard. I've gone for the 4-4-2 diamond. Obviously, we've seen this in pre-season to work often at really great effect. It's a bit of a risky roll of the dice in the Premier League, certainly against Manchester United, but it could be incredibly successful, and I'll get to that. But the personnel would be, Jorginho would step out, and it would be Kante at the base of the diamond. Mason Mount would be on the right, Kovacic would be on the left, and Barkley would be at the tip of the diamond, again essentially playing the number 10, behind striker partnership Batshuayi and Abraham. Why is this risky? Well, it's risky because you drop all your wingers. You don't, Pedro and Pulisic might feel quite hard done by here. But give me a second to think about it, right? So, if Chelsea to great success had Pulisic playing on the shoulder and running in behind, but remember, now he'd be running in behind or trying to run in behind Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, Aaron Wan-Bissaka was statistically the best defensive right back in Europe last season, and he's looked absolutely beast in pre-season for United. And for someone like Pulisic, who does look an absolute excellent talent, settling into this team, settling into this league, I think it might be asking a bit much, because although he's good at getting in behind and then getting into one-on-one situations, he has to get in behind Wan-Bissaka, and then, there's Harry Maguire to stop him getting into a 1v1. It looks a bit difficult, right? Now, Manchester United's biggest weakness at the moment is their midfield. Their midfield is their soft underbelly, right? So, if Frank Lampard deploys this diamond midfield, it could, maybe, totally dominate Manchester United. You'd basically have really talented number 10 style players like Mason